The next thing that I want to do is looking at how I've got this image here, and now I want to put another image on top of that. And we were then going to play around with the different sort of settings and how we can sort of create a double exposure or a sort of sandwiching images together. So I'm going to find this image, and I'm going to click and drag it over the Photoshop. There's a couple of different ways you could do that. You could always go File, Open, and find the actual file. I'm just going to click and drag it there. So the image is there as well. I'm going to unlock it again using my layers. Same idea. I'll make that black and white as well. I'm not that happy with it though, so I might go to adjustments and I might go to my levels, and I can make my blacks darker, but bring up those sort of mid-tones, strengthen those whites a little bit more. So it's a little bit more like that. Just so we know, so image, adjustments, levels, but we can also play around with brightness and contrast, curves, exposure, very similar to Lightroom there as well. What I'm now going to do, I'm going to click and drag that, and I'm going to get my move tool, which is up here, and I'm literally just going to click and drag that over to here. I'm going to pull that to the center of the frame, and it's going to sit there. So what we currently have is layer 1 and layer 0. They're both sitting at 100% opacity, so if they're 100%, they are a brick wall. You cannot see through that. So if I reduce that opacity, let's take it to 50%. We've got this sort of mishmash of a double exposure there as well. So we can sort of see that coming through. I wanted to just run through these different options. So for example, darken, where what happens there is only the darkest areas of that top layer come through, or multiply. Color burn. You can sort of have a play and see what works best. Lighten is the opposite. So it only lets the light things through, none of the dark gets through. I quite like color dodge there. I think that's interesting. Creates an interesting sort of aesthetic there. And you can just sort of have a play around. Hard mix can often create quite grungy sort of aesthetic as well. Difference is sort of interesting, where we can remove and create negative space. Same with exclusion. Subtract. You're getting the idea a little bit. So there's different ways that you can then look to experiment, and you can actually create maybe quite an interesting sort of image using this. What I could also do there, to sort of match it up, I might then make the below layers contrast a little bit higher, so it is sort of matching a similar aesthetic as well. Just a really quick and easy option of how we could then potentially approach of sandwiching two images together to create one. The next thing I want to do is I'm just going to go back and undo those sort of things. What I wanted to experiment with today to show you is I wanted to create almost like an image frame with one image, so we can then view the other, and the way we can almost like overlap images. So doing what I was doing before, I'm now going to make our opacity 100% on normal. I'm then going to select sky again. So select sky. Then I'm going to layer mask it. And that's dropping out all the buildings, but the sky is remaining. And it creates an interesting interplay between positive and negative space. But I don't want to sort of obscure that pedestrian. So what I can then do is I can go to Edit. I'm going to Transform, and I'm going to click Flip Horizontal. The important thing here, though, is make sure that you are selected on the layer that you want to be working on. Quite often, what the mistakes people can make is they're making all these edits and adjustments, but on the wrong layer or on a layer that they can't see. And they're like, why isn't this working? It's like, it is working, you're just not on the right layer. So you can sort of see which layer you're working on. It's the one that's the lighter gray, it's highlighted there. So Image, Transform, Flip Horizontal. Now we can sort of see our pedestrian figures here, while we're also blotting out those buildings and creating this positive and negative space. I can then also move this, so I can almost frame because when I pull it down, I wanted to sort of have her sitting in the image, but it's creating this sort of effect here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transform and scale. And I'm just going to pull that out to make that larger. We might frame her there. There's a lot of negative space here, but what I might do is I can then crop down. The reason why I'm doing this is so I can show you all the different sort of tools that I want to talk about. So we've got the crop tool here on the left-hand side, and we can sort of pull that down. We'll keep her maybe in the middle of the frame, or maybe just trying to think what's the most interesting. Keeping like that rule of thirds, so she's on. Sort of interesting. I might go back and recrop that. Alternatively, what I can always do is I could go to landscape. And it's just a way that we can now start thinking about, maybe you don't need to include your entire image. Maybe we only want to focus on one aspect rather than the whole thing. What we're seeing here is we're seeing the interplay between different perspectives of the same place, where we're seeing it from a street view perspective, but then we're also looking up and towards the sky and the high rises, and she's being framed right in the middle of that image with those sort of skyscrapers there. So that's one way we could approach that. I'm going to go back, or what we can do is we can always save that image. So to save, we'll go File, Save As. I'm going to call that Practice 1. You can save it as a Photoshop file or a TIFF file. Either is fine. Make sure you're thinking about where you're saving, not necessarily to OneDrive, but you might be saving it to a folder you're working in. So I'm going to click Save there. Okay, so that's there, but I'm now going to go back. And what I want to do is I want to reverse this. So just so we know our adjustments. So to view, fit on screen. The other thing is, if your display looks a little bit different from mine, you can always go to Window, Workspace, and I'm working in Essentials default. So there are a number of different ones you could be working in, and so that means the display will look different. I normally just work in Essentials though. What I'm going to do now is similar to what I did before, is selecting the sky. Going to layer mask it. Creates that, but I wanted to now inverse it. So select Inverse. And all of a sudden, what we now have is this effect where the city is sort of being seen again from two different perspectives, and it's sort of leaning into that as well, where it's like it's crowding up, it's looking quite claustrophobic, and it's a way that we can sort of frame different images. We can almost put lots of different sort of things there, depending if it looks visually interesting or if it works. So we can always then adjust that. We can make this bigger as well, so we'll go to Transform. Quite like the light pole there. It's just so much visual information. Alternatively, we can always get a different image and pull one of those in. We might pull in this guy. See what that looks like. Same idea. I'll then go to black and white. And I'll up those levels as well. Again, this whole idea of different cultures, old and new, the different ways we could then possibly present that. And also then frame that. I didn't have any images from the Chinese gardens, but I think a good one for this is those window frames that were in the gardens, where we could keep that and then change what's in the window frame. So if it was the gardens, but we might change that to a street scene, might be an interesting way for us to frame our images as well. So that's a couple of different things. I'll stop the video now, and then we'll move on to a couple of different things where we might be looking at how we can duplicate and mirror images as well.